You were taught that fairness would save you, that if you followed the rules, respected boundaries, and played the game with honor, the world would reward you with respect, loyalty, and power. Your parents whispered these lies into your young ears, your teachers carved them into your developing mind. Society painted them as virtues worthy of praise. But look around you now, as you sit in the wreckage of your ambitions, watching lesser men claim what should have been yours. The truth, it becomes undeniable. Your virtue has become your execution, your honor, your weakness, your principles, the very chains that bind you to mediocrity while others soar past you without conscience. The rules were never written to protect you, they were written to control you while others break them in silence. Every promotion that went to someone less qualified, every relationship that crumbled because you were too good for them, every opportunity that slipped through your fingers while you waited for permission that never came. These weren't accidents, these weren't coincidences. These were the natural consequences of a man who brought virtue to a knife fight. The world you were promised doesn't exist. The meritocracy they sold you is a fantasy designed to keep you compliant while the real players move pieces on a board you don't even know exists. You've been playing checkers while they've been playing chess, and every move you've made according to their rules has been anticipated, countered, and used against you. Machiavelli understood what your teachers never told you, that power belongs to those who understand its true nature, not to those who hope it will be distributed fairly. That influence flows to those who seize it, not to those who wait their turn. That respect is earned through strength, not through submission to arbitrary moral codes, created by those who benefit from your compliance. Your conscience has been weaponized against you. Your integrity has become your prison, your good nature, their opportunity, the gentle suicide of playing by the rules while others write new ones in real time. This is your awakening. Your transparency has made you predictable, and predictable. Men are dead men walking. You announce your intentions with the nobility of a knight entering battle, broadcasting your next move to friend and enemy alike. You wear your heart on your sleeve, your strategy in your voice, your weaknesses in your words. You believe this honesty makes you trustworthy, but what it actually makes you is controllable. While you speak your truth to the world, your enemies study your every move, anticipating your next step before you've even decided to take it. They catalog your patterns, map your responses, and build countermeasures to your predictable reactions. Your openness has become their intelligence network, and your honesty their strategic advantage. You tell them when you're angry, so they know when to avoid confrontation. You reveal your plans, so they know when to interfere. You share your fears, so they know exactly where to strike. You announce your boundaries, so they know precisely how far they can push before you break. This isn't authenticity, this is strategic. Suicide. Machiavelli warned that everyone sees what you appear to be, but few experience what you really are. Yet you've inverted this wisdom, showing everyone exactly what you are while maintaining no mystery, no leverage, no power. You've given away your greatest advantage, the ability to be unreadable. Your enemies don't extend you the same courtesy. They smile while plotting your downfall. They agree while undermining your position. They compliment your honesty while using it to destroy you. They've learned the art of concealment while you've perfected the craft of exposure. The brutal truth cuts deeper. Your transparency isn't born from strength, it's born from a desperate need for validation. You reveal yourself completely because you hope others will love the real you. But the real you includes your strategies, your advantages, your next moves, and those who would love you for your openness are not the ones deciding your fate. Your honesty has become their greatest weapon against you. Your openness, their roadmap to your destruction. The graveyards are full of honest men who announced their intentions to those who had none. Don't let your tombstone read, "He never learned to hide his hand." Silence becomes the knife they don't expect. Learn to wield it. Type in the comments, "I no longer explain." Every time you showed mercy to those who wronged you, you taught them that your threats are empty and your boundaries are suggestions. You believed forgiveness was strength, that rising above their petty attacks would elevate you in their eyes. Instead, you've trained them like dogs, showing them that biting you carries no consequences, that crossing your lines results in nothing more than disappointed words and renewed chances. Your compassion has been mistaken for weakness, and now they strike without fear of retaliation. The colleague who undermined your project and faced no repercussions now sabotages your next initiative with increased boldness. The friend who betrayed your confidence and received only gentle correction now shares your secrets as currency in social transactions. The partner who violated your trust and was met with understanding now treats your boundaries as negotiable terms in an ongoing contract they never intended to honor. Each act of mercy was interpreted not as magnanimity but as inability, not as choice but as limitation, not as power held in reserve but as power that never existed. Machiavelli observed that men judge generally more by the eye than by the hand, for everyone can see and few can feel. They see your mercy and assume incapacity. They witness your forgiveness and conclude impotence. They experience your second chances and deduce endless tolerance for their transgressions. The very people you spared have returned with sharper knives, knowing you lack the stomach to finish what you start. They've studied your pattern threat, without follow-through, warning without consequence, anger without action. Your mercy has become their insurance policy against accountability. You've confused being a good person with being a weak one. But goodness without the capacity for ruthlessness isn't virtue. It's vulnerability dressed up in moral language to make you feel better about your inability to protect yourself. True mercy requires the power to destroy and the choice not to exercise it. What you've been practicing isn't mercy, it's surrender with spiritual justification. You've been feeding wolves while calling it compassion, and wondering why they keep returning hungrier than before. The merciful prince who cannot be terrible when necessary will not long remain prince at all. Your kingdom, whether it's your career, your relationships, or your reputation, cannot survive a ruler who won't defend its borders. They tested you, and you failed. They pushed you, and you yielded. They hurt you, and you thanked them for the lesson. The mercy that murders you isn't the mercy you showed, it's the mercy you showed to those who deserve none. Stop feeding your enemies, start starving them. Don't explain, don't warn again. Execute. You divided resources equally while they hoarded power in shadows. You gave everyone a voice while they silenced opposition through fear. You played by the rules of fairness while they rewrote the game entirely. And now you wonder why your commitment to justice left you defenseless against those who understand that power is not distributed, it is taken. Your belief in fairness was your first mistake, but your commitment to it became your fatal flaw. While you insisted on equal time, equal consideration, equal opportunity for all, your competitors were building alliances, consolidating influence, and eliminating threats. While you refereed the game with noble intentions, they were buying the stadium, bribing the officials, and changing the rules mid-match. You approached power like a socialist approaches economics, assuming it should be shared equally among all participants. But power, like wealth, flows to those who understand how to accumulate it, not to those who believe it should be distributed fairly. Your fairness became their opportunity to concentrate advantages while you dispersed yours. The meeting where you gave everyone equal speaking time while your rival used that time to identify and neutralize dissenting voices. The project where you distributed credit equally while your competitor claimed ownership of the successful elements and distanced themselves from the failures. The relationship where you balanced attention between multiple people while someone else monopolized the most influential connections. You've been playing referee while they've been playing to win. Machiavelli understood that the first method for estimating the intelligence of a ruler is to look at the men he has around him. Your commitment to fairness has surrounded you with people who take advantage of fair people. Their commitment to winning has surrounded them with people who help winners win. Your fairness has become their competitive advantage. Every resource you shared equally was a resource they didn't have to fight for. Every opportunity you distributed broadly was an opportunity they could exploit while you managed the logistics of equality. The fairness trap isn't that fairness is wrong. It's that fairness in an unfair world is strategic suicide. You've brought balance to an unbalanced fight, and balance in an unbalanced system only serves to perpetuate the imbalance. They understand what you've forgotten, that power respects strength, not justice. That influence flows to those who can wield it effectively, not to those who can distribute it evenly. That leadership belongs to those who can make difficult decisions, not to those who defer to consensus. Your commitment to fairness has made you fair game for those who have no such limitations. Either you learn to accumulate power, or you watch others accumulate it at your expense. The choice was always binary. You just chose to pretend it. WASN . Stop being fair. Start being effective. Your need for approval has made you a slave to public opinion, bending your will to match the crowd's fleeting emotions. You have traded your sovereignty for applause, your principles for popularity, your authentic self for a version others might find acceptable. Every decision filtered through the question, what will they think? Every action modified by the consideration, how will this look? Every choice contaminated by the desperate hunger for external validation. You've become a weather vane spinning with every shift in social wind. The proposal you didn't present because it might seem too aggressive. The boundary you didn't enforce because it might appear unreasonable. The truth you didn't speak because it might offend someone. The opportunity you didn't seize because taking it might make others uncomfortable. Your need for approval has become a prison with bars made of imaginary judgment, while you dance to their tune. Real power brokers move in silence, needing no one's permission to act. They don't ask what others think, they make others think what they want them to think. They don't seek validation, they create the criteria by which validation is measured. They don't follow public opinion, they shape it, manipulate it, and use it as a tool to achieve their objectives. Machiavelli warned that he who neglects what is done for what ought to be done sooner affects his ruin than his preservation. You've been so focused on what ought to gain approval that you've neglected what actually gains power. Your should-be decisions have sabotaged your could-be reality. The validation you seek is a mirage that recedes every time you approach it. The approval you crave is a drug that requires increasing doses to maintain the same high. The acceptance you chase is a moving target that shifts its criteria every time you think you've met it. But here's the truth that cuts deepest. The people whose approval you seek don't respect you for seeking it. your desperation for their validation, that has made you predictable, manipulable, and ultimately disposable. They've learned to control you with the promise of acceptance and the threat of rejection. You've confused popularity with power, likability with leadership, consensus with strength. But power doesn't require approval, it creates compliance. Leadership doesn't need to be liked, it needs to be effective. Strength doesn't seek consensus, it shapes reality. Your validation addiction has turned you into a people pleaser in a world that respects people leaders. You've been optimizing for comfort when you should have been optimizing for impact. The most validating thing you can do is stop needing validation. The most approving audience you can find is your future self. Looking back at the moment you chose power over popularity. Type in the comments, I validate myself. You believed loyalty was earned through kindness and reciprocated through goodness. You treated others well, assuming this treatment would be remembered when times got difficult. You extended trust, expecting it to be honored when circumstances changed. You invested in relationships, believing these investments would pay dividends when you needed support most. But loyalty without fear is merely convenience, and convenience abandons you the moment a better offer appears. Your faithful allies have shown their true nature when tested, leaving you isolated in your moment of greatest need. The team member who promised unwavering support until a competing offer arrived. The friend who swore eternal loyalty until associating with you became socially costly. The partner who pledged commitment until a more attractive option presented itself. You confused transaction with transformation, assuming that good treatment would fundamentally change people's nature rather than simply influencing their immediate behavior. Machiavelli observed that friendships that are obtained by payments, and not by greatness or nobility of mind, may indeed be earned, but they are not secured. Your kindness was payment, but it purchased temporary behavior modification, not genuine loyalty. When the payments stopped or better payments appeared elsewhere, the loyalty evaporated. True loyalty isn't built on kindness alone, it's built on a combination of benefit and consequence, opportunity and risk, reward and fear of loss. People remain loyal not just because you treat them well, but because betraying you costs more than remaining faithful. You gave them only the carrot, never the stick, only the reward, never the consequence, only the benefit of loyalty, never the cost of betrayal. You made betraying you risk-free, and anything risk-free will eventually be exploited. The loyal dog is loyal not just because you feed it, but because it depends on you for survival. The loyal ally is loyal not just because you benefit them, but because they understand the consequences of opposition. The loyal follower follows not just because you're kind, but because you're powerful. Your kindness without power created affection without respect, appreciation without fear, gratitude without dependence, and none of these emotions survive contact with superior alternatives. The loyalty illusion isn't that loyalty doesn't exist, it's that loyalty without power is just temporary convenience, wearing the costume of permanent commitment. You've been building relationships like a therapist when you should have been building them like a leader. Therapists are replaced when clients no longer need them. Leaders are followed even when followers don't want to. Build loyalty that survives temptation. Make betrayal expensive. Your avoidance of confrontation has trained others to walk over you without resistance. Every battle you refused to fight became a lesson to your enemies that you can be pushed, that your boundaries are suggestions, that your threats are empty words designed to make you feel better rather than tools designed to change behavior. Your peace-seeking nature has created the very war you're now too weak to win. You chose comfort over confrontation, harmony over respect, temporary peace over permanent position. But what you called wisdom was actually cowardice dressed in diplomatic language. The colleague who takes credit for your work because you won't publicly challenge them. The friend who consistently disrespects you because you won't risk the friendship by demanding better treatment. The family member who manipulates you because you won't endure the temporary discomfort of setting firm boundaries. Your conflict avoidance has become their conflict advantage. Machiavelli taught that war cannot be avoided. It can only be postponed to the advantage of others. Every confrontation you avoided didn't disappear, it accumulated interest, growing stronger while you grew weaker, more entrenched while you became more accommodating. Your enemies have been training for battle while you've been practicing surrender. They've been sharpening their weapons while you've been polishing your diplomacy. They've been building armies while you've been building excuses for why fighting would be inappropriate. The brutal mathematics of power. Every conflict you avoid makes the next conflict harder to win. Every boundary you fail to defend makes the next boundary easier to cross. Every challenge you refuse to meet makes the next challenge more likely to destroy you. You believed that avoiding confrontation would preserve your relationships, but it has actually degraded them. People don't respect those who won't fight for themselves. They don't value those who won't defend their own interests. They don't follow those who retreat from every challenge. Your peacekeeping has been mistaken for weakness, your diplomacy for inability, your avoidance for incompetence. You've been trying to maintain relationships with people who no longer see you as an equal partner but as a convenient resource to be exploited without consequence. The conflicts you avoided have been replaced by a single overwhelming war. The battle to regain the respect you lost by refusing to fight smaller battles when you were strong enough to win them. Either you learn to engage in conflict strategically, or you accept permanent defeat quietly. The middle ground disappeared the first time you chose peace over power. Stop avoiding, start engaging. Fight the next battle. You chose to lose with honor rather than win through strategy, believing history would vindicate your righteousness. You took the high road while others took the effective road, and now you wonder why you're looking up at them from the ditch of your moral superiority. Your principles became your prison, your integrity your limitation, your honor your handicap in a competition where victory belongs to those who understand that winning matters more than looking good while losing. But history is written by victors, not martyrs, and your noble defeat serves only to inspire others to avoid your mistakes. You had chances to bend the rules, to play the game as it's actually played rather than as you wished it would be played. You could have leveraged information others didn't know you had. You could have formed alliances based on mutual benefit rather than mutual respect. You could have struck when your enemies were vulnerable rather than waiting for a fair fight that would never come. Instead, you chose purity over principles over power, moral victory over actual victory. You convinced yourself that losing honorably was somehow superior to winning strategically. You turned strategic thinking into moral corruption and tactical flexibility into character weakness. Machiavelli understood what you rejected, that the end justifies the means. The end is righteous and the means are proportionate. But you've inverted this wisdom, allowing unrighteous people to achieve unrighteous ends, because you refuse to use effective means to prevent them. Your noble defeat has consequences beyond your own life. Every position you should have held but didn't is now held by someone less principled. Every influence you should have wielded but wouldn't is now wielded by someone less ethical. Every opportunity you should have seized but couldn't is now seized by someone less deserving. Your martyrdom serves no one but your own ego. Your principled failure protects no one but your own self. Your honorable defeat inspires no one but those who want to feel better about their own strategic incompetence. The noble martyr believes their suffering has meaning, but meaning without impact is just self-indulgent philosophy. You've been optimizing for the story you tell yourself rather than the reality you create for others. Your principles have become your tombstone. While those who bent the rules inherit your kingdom, they're making decisions that affect millions while you're making peace with they're shaping the future while you're protecting your past self-concept. True nobility isn't losing beautifully, it's winning effectively enough to impose your values on a world that desperately needs them. The highest honor isn't maintaining your purity, it's getting your hands dirty enough to clean up the mess others have made. Stop dying nobly, start living effectively. The rules you followed were chains disguised as virtue, keeping you contained while others roamed free. Every principle they taught you, every boundary they convinced you to respect, every limitation they persuaded you to accept, these weren't moral guidelines. These were control mechanisms designed to keep you predictable, manageable, and ultimately powerless, while those who understood the true nature of the game moved pieces on a board you didn't even know existed. You've been playing in a tournament with imaginary rules, while your opponents have been playing to win with real strategies. You've been optimizing for fairness in an unfair world, seeking validation from people who don't respect those who need it, showing mercy to those who interpret it as weakness, avoiding conflict with those who've been preparing for war. But awareness is the first step toward power, and power belongs to those who understand that the game has always been rigged. The game was rigged from the beginning, but not in the way you think. It wasn't rigged against you personally, it was rigged against anyone naive enough to believe that following the stated rules would lead to success. The real players have always known there were two sets of rules, the ones they teach you to follow, and the ones they actually follow. Machiavelli's greatest insight wasn't that power corrupts, but that powerlessness corrupts absolutely. Your virtue in the absence of power has served no one but your own conscience. Your principles without influence have changed nothing but your own self-perception. Your honor without authority has protected nothing but your own ego. The choice before you is binary and immediate: continue playing by rules that guarantee your defeat, or learn the hidden game that guarantees your victory. This isn't about becoming evil, it's about becoming effective. This isn't about abandoning morality. It's about developing the power to impose your morality on a world that desperately needs it. This isn't about corruption. It's about refusing to let corrupt people win by default while you maintain your purity and irrelevance. The world doesn't need more noble failures, it needs more righteous victories. It doesn't need more principled martyrs. It needs more strategic leaders who understand that good intentions without good results are just elaborate forms of selfishness. Your awakening starts now. Your education in real power begins today. Your transformation from rule follower to rule maker commences with this understanding. The game you've been playing was designed for you to lose, but the game they've been playing is one you can learn. To win, the world respects strength, not surrender. It follows power, not principles. It rewards results, not intentions. Stop playing their game. Start playing the real one. If you're ready to learn the rules they never taught you, subscribe now. The next video reveals what they do when they think you're not watching.